Hi there YouTube, this is the Magnus bringing you another Total War Warhammer online ladder battle. This time my opponent had chosen Bretonia, so I elected to bring the Empire. With how tough Bretonia is right now, I've been working a while to try to come up with a build that countered them pretty well, and I think I've found it, but it's still, it's not always easy, that's for sure. So let's take a look at the build. Here we have Sigmar's Sons and the Tattersouls. We also have one Flagellant, and we have 3 swordsmen. Behind them, we have 3 handgunners, the Sunmaker, the Royal Altdorf Griffites, Demigriff Knights with halberds, and we have a Light Wizard and a General of the Empire on a horse. So let's take a look at my opponent's build. Up front he has 4 spearmen at arms. Behind them he has 4 peasant bowmen. Behind that he has 4 men-at-arm polearms. Over here he has mounted yeoman archers, Grail Knights, 2 paladins, and King Lewin Leon Corps. So let's get this fight started. Now at this point I can really only see his flying unit, so I'm not quite sure what to do, and somehow my control groups got completely messed up. My guys are trying to go everywhere here on me. I don't know what causes this. It's a really bizarre kind of ordeal, but I get things straightened out for the most part, and I figure out that I want to deploy at this slight angle. This is where I want to be. I see that he's starting to move his cav and his air units up along this way. I'm sure he'd love to get his hands on the Sunmaker, or try to snipe my general. So we'll wait and see what it is he's going to attempt. Now I get the Sunmaker targeted up on his peasant bowman, because they have the highest damage potential from the standpoint that ranged units can be focused. Like, you can have 4 units fire at one, whereas to do that with infantry is much more difficult. So I feel like peasant bowmen are one of the strengths, and I want to take that away. So you see we get some good damage there, and of course with the Sunmaker spread you're going to hit a lot of units around it too. So he continues to push up on this side. I'm watching it carefully. He starts shooting his mounted yeoman archers at my swordsmen. I'm fine with that because they're shielded infantry and they're cheap. I think you've been much better off targeting one of my Flagellant units. So here he starts to creep up. I put down the net on King Lewin, and that's going to give me an opportunity to shoot at him, and also it's going to give me an opportunity to get my cav into his cav, without him having the support of the flyers. The problem being is everything was a little too far away. I should have cheated over first, because you're going to see they get out, and now I'm in trouble, right? Look how quickly my demigriffs get just stomped there. And plus, look at my missiles. They're in this horrible crowd, and they're not shooting nearly as much as they should. So not a great start, but the Sunmaker's doing good damage out here in the field. You can see a lot of beat up stuff. Over here though, I haven't given up on it. I'm fighting it out the best I can. The Royal Altdorf Griffites though are severely outnumbered, but I start to spread out my gun units. I need to spread them out a lot more, and that obviously draws his attention. He wants to get into my gunners here. So as he approaches, I spread them out, and then I'm going to spread them out in 3 different directions. That way, he's not getting any 2-for-1s or 3-for-1s. But my men get kind of screwed up here. I am able to knock the crap out of his Grail Knights for the most part. But here I get down another net, and this is going to be a critical one, because I'm going to go after the king, because the king is so much of what makes Bretonia so darn good. So I put my cav on it, I put my general on it, and then I'm going to have all my guns that I spread out here finally, in a somewhat proper fashion, shoot at him. And you're going to see he's going to take a lot of damage in a short period of time, so he's going to get spiked pretty nasty. In the meantime, like I said, his cav, Grail Knights are getting even more beat up here. Not really worried about the paladins for now. Just want to get the king down. Now we are doing some work on the paladin, but the primary goal here is to kill the king. Obviously that was overcast, that's why I got to hold him for so long. And then the king is going to rout and break. and then he's going to get killed. So now his cav is also retreating. He just has his 2 paladins here. So I'm just going to go through his leadership corps the same way. I forgot to note that our infantry had engaged. I'm using the Sunmaker to spread damage amongst all of his ranged units as best I can. And infantry-wise, I'm a little outnumbered. I'm just hoping they can hang in there while I take care of the last of his leadership crew here, which now is just 1 paladin who is running. So we're gonna let him run here in a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and, once he gets airborne, or we know he's gonna get airborne, we're just gonna call him off. No point in wasting a bunch of time chasing him halfway across the field. The Tattersouls won their infantry engagement, so I send them out to help with the missiles because they're going to be a real issue. And now I've got to use my guns to clean up what's in this area. So I notice these guys are out on the plain by themselves. I'm shooting at them, but then his paladin decides to come in for another play. Maybe a desperate effort to use all these units to wipe out my general of the Empire. But I'm going to go ahead and cast the net, freezing his guys up, and then we're going to go ahead and shoot into his netted units, specifically the paladin. You just watch how fast when one of those volleys goes through, just does a lot of damage to him, and not a whole lot he can do about that. I pull my general out. I don't see any reason to risk him at this point. I think my guns can handle it. His paladin runs, but he's going to get shot in the back, and he's going to die. A rather painful falling death after being shot. Over here he has me completely overwhelmed. My Tattersouls are chasing off yet another bowman unit. Most of his bowmen are out of it, but now he's got infantry here and I've got not much. So I'm going to try to shoot my way out of it. That works on the men-at-arms, but then he comes in with the spearmen. I use the cav to scare him off and then shoot them in the back, which is going to break them as well. Out here in the field, I finally got some infantry on the mounted yeoman. He didn't see it, so they got wiped out pretty quick. These guys have a long way to run to get in the fight. I've got my general helping out to get rid of these men-at-arms polearms. These ones that snuck in, they get shot and charged to death, and that's going to result in a victory for the Empire over. So let's take a look at the tail of the tape. The swordsmen did fine. I mean, for their price, they got good kills and they hung around a decent bit. Flagellants did fine. Sigmar's sons were okay. The Tattersouls ripped crap up. Those religious zealots beat the snot out of his infantry and then went after his bowmen. The handgunners, along with the light wizard, were really the stars of the show. They allowed us to, pin things down and just shoot the crap out of it. My Royal Altdorf Griffites were great. These guys never really got a chance. My Demi-Griff Knights. The Sunmaker, damn near 100 kills, and most of them on his bowman, which is fantastic. Really pleased with that result. And the General Empire did his job. So overall, I'm liking this build. I've refined it over the last, God, I don't know, maybe month that Bretonia has been so strong, and I finally have something I'm pretty darn confident in. Good game to my opponent. Let's take a look at what he did. The Spearman did fine. His men-at-arms did fine. His peasant bowman did fine. Really, everything he did well. It's just a couple of critical mistakes, like shooting at shielded infantry when I had, zealots that have no shield whatsoever. And when he came in, that beginning thing with the king and the paladins as cavalry, I feel like we both kind of made a mistake there. But there's always that moment in a battle where you have to decide whether you're willing to risk it all for the win. And we both did so, and that could have went either way, and it happened to go mine. I'd like to think it's because I did some things right, but it could just be luck as well. But again, good game to my opponent. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad to have something that beats Bretonia on a regular basis. It's not perfect. If you like this, if you learned something, or if you just feel like being nice, please hit like, please hit subscribe. Until the next time, this is the Magnus, and I'll see you on the ladder.